Welcome back to the Canadian Citizens Journal. Today we are entering a new section of our constitutional manual. We are looking at Chapter 33, which introduces the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Before 1982, if you thought a law was unfair, you usually had to prove that the wrong level of government passed it. For example, that the feds were doing a province's job. But after the charter was signed, the focus shifted to the individual. Now, even if a law is passed by the correct level of government, it can be struck down if it violates your fundamental rights. Hogg explains that the charter applies to all levels of government, federal, provincial, and municipal. It also applies to anybody that is controlled by the government, like the police or public health authorities. However, it does not apply to private disputes between individuals or private companies. If your employer at a private shop treats you unfairly, that is a labor law issue, not a charter issue. One of the most important things Hogg points out is that the charter changed the role of our judges. Before 1982, judges were mostly referees between Ottawa and the provinces. Today, they are the guardians of our liberty. They have the power to tell the Prime Minister or a Premier that their law is unconstitutional and therefore of no force or effect. But the Charter is not a list of absolute permissions. Every right in the Charter is subject to Section 1, which we will look at in our next episode. Section 1 says that rights can be limited if the government can demonstrably justify it in a free and democratic society. In 2026, the Charter is the most powerful tool a citizen has. It protects your right to speak, your right to gather, and your right to be free from arbitrary state power. But a shield only works if you know how to hold it. Next time, we are diving into Chapter 35 to look at Section 1 and Section 33. These are the limitations and the overrides, the fine print that tells us when the government is allowed to ignore your rights. Until then, keep looking at the evidence. This is the Canadian Citizens Journal.